Hi everybody, Nick Blazer here with another position analysis video that came up from a play and explain video. This will probably come out before the play and explain video. That's fine. Either way, I think I explained it there too. Uh, but yeah, this is a cool opening concept that I just kind of wanted to share here. That maybe contradicts one of the first rules we hear or something like that, or like an exception case. But I wanted to share that. But yeah, before we get started, I hope you enjoyed and kept up with the Loot Rocky commentary all weekend. If not, you can go check that out. I should have the videos on my channel now or soon or something anyway too. But yeah, so that's going on, and I'll be on a break from commentary for a little while. But I think the next one I definitely have coming up is Cherry Blossom in the end of April. So I'm really excited. We got some cool plans coming through for that. So I'm really excited to see what sort of like stepping up of the game of the production we can do for that one. So yeah, tune into that in late April. Oh yeah, and I do lessons and stuff like that too. If you ever want to reach out and work with me on your game, I'm around. Got my book and all that stuff too. You can find more info about lessons and things like that on my webpage though. But okay, without further ado, the answer on this one, let's talk about, one of the first concepts we learn in the game of backgammon is that the 5 point is extremely valuable. And so maybe the play that you would think of first would be unstacking the 6 to the 4 looks really great. And then switching 7 to 5 makes the rack. It's beautiful. It's a 5 point. How can we avoid making like the best board we want there? And still, maybe a beginner concept is like, well, I'm priming my opponent right now and I don't want to let them out with 6s. So maybe I want to keep the bar. But we learned pretty quickly in the opening that most rolls, when we get the option between making the 5 point or making the bar point, making the 5 point tends to win. It's just a long-term asset that you're always going to need in order to, eventually close an opponent out, to prime them, to bear off even. You need spares on the 5 point. Every phase of the game, the 5 point is crucial. So we learned very early on to just make it all the time. But in this position, there's a better play. We can instead just make the 4 and then the 11 point. And so what's going on with this? Why would we pass up an opportunity to make the 5 point and make what seems like kind of an irrelevant 11 point out here? Maybe just looking at it, like, what is this doing? It's not part of our prime. I guess it unstacks, it strips our midpoint. It doesn't feel that strong intuitively when I first saw these kinds of plays. But what I've learned as a concept is that when the 5 point is open, having the 11 point is incredibly valuable. And just in general, having a point 6 pips away from the point that you want to make is very valuable in this game. Once you have the 5 point, the 11 can still be okay. But it's like a similar idea. Once you have the 4 point, you don't care about the 10 as much. I talk about this a lot. But if you don't have the 4 yet, making the 10 is great. Everything communicates well. But so this is kind of a special case where having the 11 along with the open 5 point is like close to as strong in a lot of ways, especially with double 2s in the opening. And we can kind of see why. When our opponent steps up to the 4 point, we've got a ton of material attacking, threatening to make the 5 point. When they don't, we're still probably by, in a couple rolls, the favorite to make the 5 point naturally. So we don't need to do it here now. We do keep the blocking point in the 7, which is valuable, of course. And then, also, I guess it's just all these things. When our opponent tries to step up with like a 4, they can't run out past the 11. And so any running number like a 4-4 or a 4-5 or a 2-6, now we get a double shot. And so this idea of wanting to have this 11 point or a checker there versus the single checker back, it's very strong for containment and getting double shots when our opponent hops out to the outfield. And it's playing that role here too. So if we know this concept and that this is just a very strong structure, then we can start to look for this alternative from the natural play of just making the bar point or of making the 5 point. And of course, this must be a great position too. But it loses out, like I was saying, on numbers that run like a 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, only get like single shots now, right? And a lot of those numbers are either blocked or getting double shots or triple shots, depending on, things like that. And we're so likely to make the 5 point after this play anyway. And we keep the blocking 7 point. So yeah, it's a game of pattern recognition at some point. And it's hard to fit all these rules in. Where in the hierarchy is this? Is this as important as like game plan and recognizing strategy? Definitely not. But somewhere down in our like opening concepts and ideas, this is a thing you can see and start to recognize maybe making the 11 point with the open 5 point is as good here as making the 5 point. And I can look for that as an alternative. But it's important that you figure it out at the right layer, and you're not like always making the 11 point instead of the 5 point, right? You know, I mean, strategically the 5 point, it's still the 5 point. So usually you should make it. But yeah, I hope this helps you out with finding some interesting opening plays like this. I just thought it was an interesting concept that I got the chance to recognize and make the play right over the board. And so I wanted to share it with y'all. But I'll be back with more backgammon content soon. Keep watching. Please do subscribe to the channel if you appreciate all this, like the videos, and share with your friends, all that fun stuff. I'll be back soon. Thanks, everybody.